everybody. Welcome to the next episode of the latest thread. So, today we're just going to have a little chat. Um, Sometimes it's hard for us to come up with topics that are of interest to everybody. So, we encourage you, if you want us to talk about something that you're interested in, to post either on the YouTube where these are shown, or also on the GAMO Facebook groups. So let us know what you would like for us to talk about. But anyhow, today we're going to talk about ideas for your designs. How do you come up with designs for your quilting? What's your inspiration? So I don't know, I can start or have somebody else start. Sharon looks like she's ready to start.
I can. I was nodding that you could start, but if you want me to.
I can start. Let's figure it out.
Okay, I'll just go.
Go.
Okay, I have a few things, but the first one would be, I'm sure this happens to you guys too. I hope it happens to you guys too. I'll work on a quilt and then I'll finish it. And then when I'm finished, I'll be like, oh, this would have been really cool to do this or this or this with that. And then I'll be like, I'm doing that on the next quilt. So I often get inspiration from the previous quilt of things that I want to do on the next quilt, because then the ideas spur more ideas.
So then do you doodle it down, whatever it was that you're going to do next time? So
get it out right away. And then that, again, things just keep, you can keep adding and changing things like that. It doesn't matter what the quilt looks like the next one, but it's getting that design.
Make it work.
Yeah, make it fit somehow.
Yeah, I do that a lot too. Same thing. It's like, halfway through the quilt, you're like, I should have did this. This would have been so much better. And then I make a little post-it note, stick it on the wall behind me and remember that for later. But yeah. And then you just waiting for that quilt to make it work.
And the quilt still looks good, right? Yeah. Like nobody ever go, oh, she totally should have done da-da-da-da, right? But
Yeah. Well, when I think about inspiration for designs, also, it's amazing. You can go for a walk and see things. You can ride along in your car and you see the outside of a building, or, things in nature. My husband, he drives truck, and so he sends me pictures of graffiti designs that are on the outside of trains. He gets very excited. And, so to him, that can relate back to quilting designs. It's just another form of art is graffiti.
Well, it's even like the picture, the piece behind you. I mean, most people look at it and say it's a piece of art, and I'm looking at it going, that's a really cool kind of random crosshatch. It's like, it's just how you look at things,
So especially with technology today too, we have access to a wealth of information. So depending on what I might want to use on the next quilt, I might decide I'm going to research Moroccan tiles, for instance, or, architecture. So we have all this, accessible to us where we can find different things. So sometimes I've gone to a department store and looked at their pillows and some of, the designs on the pillow. I mean, it's amazing what we can have. What do you think, Jody?
So I think for me, if I try that idea, so if I go in search of inspiration, I don't find it. I might see a lot of things and save a lot of pictures, but it really doesn't click. It's almost like in my head, it's forced. So for me, I keep an idea basket. And whatever, everything I have on my desk is covered in things, ideas, and then they get thrown in that basket for someday. But mine, I get inspired by things when I'm super busy and I have tons to do, and I do not need to be doing this that's when I get all kind of ideas, because it's me trying not to do my work or something.
Well, and because your brain's already in go position. So it's more sparking, I think, on the
Yeah,
creative
it's just
side.
weird. I mean, and it's always in the morning, only in the morning. You know, when you're supposed to be starting your day and your work, and then I'm looking, it's like, oh, it's lunchtime. I haven't done anything that I was supposed to do yet. But, and my other biggest inspiration would be going to a quilt show, because I don't make anything. I haven't made anything in a really long time. And usually if I go to a quilt show and look at quilts, it's not that that particular quilt inspired me in any way. It's just that, oh, wow, I should be, I don't know, I should be doing something. And then I go home and do it for a day and it's over.
Fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Google Images is lots of fun when you look at all different kinds of art
Yes.
and different kinds of art, not just art, but like very specific avenues of art. And there's even really cool like designs in rugs,
Mhm.
and tapestries and things like that
Yeah.
too.
Or even, search for tattoo art. I mean, you can just go off, or henna art, because those are very different, the henna art from the tattoo art, I think, so you can go off in many different directions. And to me, I'd rather do that than let's say go to Pinterest maybe, and look for specific quilt types and see how they quilted them. Because to me, that's not as inspiring as independently looking, for things that are not necessarily related to quilts. Because I think you can find a lot more. If I'm looking, maybe I want to think about something that has scrolls, then I maybe look at ironwork, for instance, just, or cathedral, type.
Well, I would say too, I bet that if we were all to go search for images for the same thing, what we typed into the search bar is probably going to be different.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like scrolls, for an example. If you're probably it's an overload for me. If I would just go there to the bar and type in scrolls, it's just, oh my gosh, it's all this stuff. And this isn't what I meant. You know what I mean? So I usually have very specific things I like to type in. And then I find what I need within. So I get images of things I like, I guess is what it is.
Yep.
And then I find that scroll in something that it is something I like. I don't know if that even makes sense.
No,
But
it does, because if I look for scroll, I wouldn't type in scroll. I would type in iron work, fence, perhaps, and then I know I'll get the scroll type things, based on what I know about ironwork. So yeah, you're right. It probably you have to narrow it down.
Yeah, and you can get lost in a rabbit hole like that too, because you can click on a particular picture that has maybe some different tags on it, and you can see more like that picture, and then you can even find even more and more, and you're looking at more and more specific things, so you could branch off.
Yeah.
Find 2 hours later.
2. That was quick.
I gotta
Yeah,
pee.
because then you
It's
see,
been a while.
then you find a video, and now we're at YouTube.
Now you're in YouTube land.
Next video. Oh, sure. Let's watch. Oh, yeah.
What about the fabric?
That too, you're right.
Yeah. I've made quite a few actual quilts that are nothing more than me reproducing the shapes that are on. And usually what I do, so I have it as the backing. But the front is nothing more than me pulling shapes from that backing fabric and making the top.
Ooh.
It's like so easy to do that, I think.
Mhm.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm weird with fabric. Like I quilt other people's quilts, and I think that helps in my fabric need of like looking at all these pretty patterns, because then when I go to make something, it's all solids or
Me
model colors. I might
Well,
throw a little print here and there, but it's
that's
like,
what your quilting is going to show the best on, though,
Right.
right?
So it's, I don't know, but I mean, I love going to the fabric shop and looking, but I'm like, when would I ever use this now?
Hmm.
I'm still trying to get rid of the stash from 15 years ago of all these crazy prints.
Yeah, they make great backings. I have used calicos for my samples and using that stuff up, that I wouldn't use otherwise.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I also buy very few prints.
Mhm.
The ones I buy, it's just because I like them. Am I gonna put them in a quilt? No, because I'm the same. I just can't. I need that. I just have to be solid. That's all. And then I've been using them for the back because then at least I get to see them. After you move them from one place to another, to another, to another.
That tells you, like, I have a couple quilts that are going to get finished like this year, and you'll see they have prints in them, and you'll be like, wow, that's really old. Okay. Yeah.
Quilting is good too, like specifically men's ties
Oh,
have
yeah.
a lot of really interesting designs on them,
Mhm.
and blouses and dresses and things like that. So patterns in fabric doesn't necessarily have to be quilting fabric. It can
No.
be
Mhm.
other textiles, drapes, things like that.
I have a whole drawer of that stuff waiting for the perfect opportunity to cut it up,
Yeah.
mark it up, and put it into something somehow.
Don't
I
we
think
all?
we all have those.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it really doesn't matter where you get your inspiration from, because as we talked about, there's lots of sources and resources. The point is, look around, be aware of where you can pull those designs from and those, inspirations, because that makes you probably a quilter that's much more versatile, because, you have new ideas all the time. And so I think you're going to enjoy the quilting process a lot longer, and have fun with it if you branch out and try new things. Anyone want to add anything?
Yeah. Social media, I know it can be sometimes really daunting for people because you have to be careful not to compare yourself and what you like your work to somebody else's, and that's hard to do sometimes. But I am inspired by other quilters all the time. So social media is always really good, just be careful not to be judging yourself constantly.
Only against your last self.
Mhm, mhm. Oh, and nature,
Yeah. Nature is everything. Yeah.
like patterns in like weird flowers and weird foliage and stuff. It's all kinds of
Bark.
Yeah.
Mhm. Dragonfly wings. Yeah.
Mhm.
See, now you're going to send me off in the loophole.
ferns, those little circles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right.
Squirrel.
Squirrel.
I'm
A squirrel.
scrolls.
Squirrel.
Squirrels or squirrels?
Squirrels.
Not a squirrel.
Hey, I have lots of squirrel inspiration out there. They're fun, but no. All right, now we're getting silly. So we hope you enjoyed this episode, and, check us out for the next one. Bye.